Yes, girl, knock it and you 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 knock it and you. Oh God, you can knock on one side, knock on one side, knock on one side. Oh God, you can knock on the next side, knock on the next side, knock on the next side. And every girl, I manage it, 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 I manage it. I manage it, I manage it, I manage it, I manage it, I manage it. Oh God, the kid bounce, one side bounce, next side bounce, one side. Oh God, the kid bounce, next side bounce, one side bounce, next side. And every girl, I will you lie down there. Don't be away, lie down. Yes, girl, away, lie down. Don't be away, lie down. And every girl, away, sit down on the rod, 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 sit down on the rod. We just have a few more minutes inside this segment. Sit down on the rod, sit down on the rod. Feel free to send those voice notes to 771-1791. Yes, girl, knock it. While you text me on 9191 from your B-Mobile or your Digicel phone. As you enter your chance to win an electric kettle and a Hamilton Beach Magic Bullet. Remember, the talk starts after 5. We just have 2 more minutes, AJ. Let's go.
Miss Corona, goody, goody now, goody, goody now, goody, goody now. How you goody, goody now, goody, goody now, goody, goody now. How you cock up, Miss Corona, and then I put my hand on your shoulder. Long time you was stuck on mover, beat you until the lockdown get over. Miss Corona, bend down and show me where you want it. Bend down and show me where you want it. Bend down and show me where you want it. Let me plant it inside it. Sanitize your hand, then bend back, miss, before you take the jam. Take the jam, take the jam. You're moving too rough, man, you bust me slam. Miss Corona, goody, goody now, goody, goody now, goody, goody now. Miss Corona, goody, goody now, goody, goody now, goody, goody now. Miss Corona, goody, the 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 goody. Miss Corona, bend down and show me where you want it. Bend down and show me where you want it. Bend down and show me where you want it. Let me plant it inside.
Daughter bright so?
What you mean?
Kelly's so young and already talking about when she gets her first job, taking out a mortgage with TTMF at 2%.
She knows about 2%?
Yes, 2% with no down payment as a first-time homeowner and the lowest rate on the market. We would not have to dip into our savings to set her up. Where she get all these brains from?
Her mother, of course.
TTMF, from here to home. Greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus. This is Bishop Tony from the Church at Christ is Built. I will be bringing the word of God to you on this very radio station, the Street 91.9 FM, on Wednesdays, 11:15 to 11:45 a.m. Tune in and be blessed. My book, Your Future in the New Heaven and the New Earth, will be on sale. Purchase a copy of Your Future in the New Heaven and New Earth. Call 1-868-364-2119, 1-868-363-4520, or 1-868-287-0850. Where are you going to spend the rest of your life after death? Jesus said, in my Father's house there are many mansions. You could live in one of those mansions happily forever after you die if you believe. Look in and listen, call and clarify, purchase and be blessed. In Jesus' name.
We care for your eyes. That's why Value Optical recommends world-leading transitions lenses that protect your eyes from blue light and 100% of UV rays. They automatically adapt to changing light conditions, making life simpler and more comfortable for your eyes every day. Now available in 4 new style colors for you to personalize any frame and express your style. Value Optical, caring for your eyes.
Are you tired of going place to place with no real solutions for your health concerns? Look no further and let our team at Louis Herbal Health Clinic take care of you with our amazing specials. Now offering iridology scanning, where we utilize a microscopic camera to detect hypertension, liver damage, a weakened immune system, and so much more issues in the body through the eyes. Iridology scanning is 100% safe and pain-free. Also available is our advanced 3D head-to-toe body scanning using the biophilia tracker, a one-of-a-kind radiation-free device used to detect all chronic diseases, disorders, and inflammation in the body in just under 1 hour. Free consultation with any service and the same-day results available. We are located on number 18 Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. To book, call or WhatsApp Shanice today at 278-1661 or find us on Facebook at Louis Herbal TT for more information.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
At Health and Wealth Lifestyle, we offer a wide range of services: blood analysis, iridology, acupuncture, foot detox, foot massages, gua sha, hot stone therapy, fire therapy, legs and feet massage therapy, mineral scrubs, acrotherapy, cupping.
We also have a wide variety of supplements: silver, zinc and magnesium, body light, and lots more.
We at Health and Wealth Lifestyle operate our business in a clean, safe, and comfortable environment. We frequently sanitize our compound and abide by all the COVID guidelines that are currently in place.
So come on down to Health and Wealth Lifestyle, where we treat you like family. Book your appointment today. Call us at 1-868-275-8359
or 1-868-288-1108.
And remember, your health is your wealth, and prevention is always better than medication.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande is pleased to present Pastor Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here on the Street 919 FM. The Ministry of Worship Children's Hour and the Word is on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. On Tuesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And on Wednesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, where we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or find us on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. First Citizens Bank, account number 795222.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Johnny Q Auto Parts Division says it's an assault on battery prices. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar. Starting from $488. Yes, $488. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed by Massey Automotive. And only available at Tobago Color Shop. Suppliers of paint, plumbing, and hardware materials. Old Farm Road, Shore Park, Tobago. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 725-5873 or 474-2456. And in Trinidad at Johnny Q, 15 R. Peter Avenue, Woodbrook. Remember, batteries from $488.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it. Look at the melanges them. Yeah, man.
Kelly on a beat, boy.
Back up on a shotty. She love the styles, the cash and tight. Kelly beats bring up tough girls from the south side. Real G's make them open up them wide. High grade smoking them one over the loud bike. A boy girl with my chest high, road guy. Don't you feeling, but up, don't try. Mess with the team cause you're gone. A real bad man when the girl them wild. Melantra make she feel safe. Stiff them out, shift the girl them jam. She tell she man she needs space. She want a real bad man then. She want a real bad man friend. She get when she see them up then. Bring problems and we make she back then. Enough girls say we're clean. After we left them say we're mean. But in the zone they not stop coming in. Cause them love the book and the 17. She love me, come about that than you. The minute man think me a stamina man too. Empty like my blood upon you. She have a bag of girl, me have a bag of girl too. She says she love the realness, love the genius, love run rocket like Serena and Venus, love the get it fun request, show if you keep them long time we in this. A real bad man when the girl them wild, Melantra make she feel safe, stiff, them out, shift the girl them jam. She tell she man she needs space, she want a real bad man then, she want a real bad man friend. She get when she see them up then, bring problems and we make she back then. Back up on the shorty. She love the styles, the cash and the party. Come Belmont once and she feeling naughty. So me make plans to after the party. Cause one thing we like, a girl alone. Monsters out late night, let she man alone. Say she want come out in the other zone. And she man for spice, make it all the girl boy.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. 4 minutes after the hour of 5 o'clock. So much to discuss inside this hour. I am going to play for you a recording in the first hour. This is history for me. Some of you may have remembered every single event. We're going to talk about this right after I play the recording. And after that, because we only have about an hour or so, we're going to, of course, look at what's taking place in Tobago. So I have this to play for you, I'm going to do it now, and when I come back, we're going to chat a little bit on this, all right? Take a listen.
In 1994, Chady was at his peak. His drug empire was continuing to expand, and his henchmen had eliminated virtually all rivals, making murder commonplace on the streets of Trinidad. But then he ordered the massacre that would eventually lead him to the gallows. It began when a petty criminal known as Mice was overheard outlining a plan to extort money from Chady by kidnapping 2 of his teenage children.
Though Chady then ordered that Mice be murdered, he took the threat seriously. On the night that the murders took place, they met at Dole's farm where they planned how they were going to execute the murder. And as they were leaving, Joey Ramaya, one of Dole's right-hand man, his executioner, turned to Dole and said, well, what happens if we meet other people there? Whereupon Dole said, well then, kill everybody.
Silence hung over Puran Street in Williamsville this morning after 4 masked men claiming to be police
was also
officers.
put next to them by the gunmen, who then shot all 3 through the head.
My son, my grandson, my granddaughter, and my daughter-in-law was died. And I am hurt. I cannot say how much I hurt. I real hurt. And nobody could compensate me for that, but God.
The only survivors of the massacre were Mice's brother Osmond, 13, and sister Nemeti, 6, who had hidden in the next room.
Who do you think was responsible?
Dole Chady. Dole Chady was responsible for the whole show.
Though Trinidad was becoming used to murder, the country was in shock. The pressure was on the police to act. Detectives soon discovered evidence linking a car found abandoned on Chady's estate to the killings. The police and the army were ordered to arrest the murderers and the man who had ordered the killings.
Chady was at his Peparo residence, and immediately the first of his gang was arrested. He got word of it and immediately left his compound and was headed to the north coast of Trinidad. I would think as a crow flies, it's probably about 30 or 40 miles away. However, he was intercepted. No doubt, once he had hit the north coast, he would have been off to Venezuela, he could have gone anywhere.
With Chady behind bars, the police and army searched the land surrounding his ranch.
Over 20 kilos of cocaine was found buried in a barrel and covered with earth and straw. Near where the heliport area is, another 40 yards away, several firearms were found wrapped in plastic and cellophane bags with ammunition. And in another area, approximately 20 yards away from where we are now, a barrel was found beneath the earth, was approximately $1.3 million.
As the Babulal family was laid to rest, Trinidad's leaders were under increasing pressure from the public to take decisive action against the drug barons who were turning this tropical island into a bloodbath. The government's response was to ensure that Chady and his henchmen were put to death. With Chady facing trial for murder, Trinidad's new government began its fight back. The state confiscated his ranch and took back the land he had illegally seized a decade earlier. It was rebuilt as a rehabilitation center for drug addicts, and America's Attorney General was invited to witness its opening.
This ground on which we stand at one point was occupied by a notorious drug lord. You can look around and see the orchard, the buildings, and the helipad he built with blood money he acquired by feeding poison to our people and to your people.
Mr. Attorney General, you are a leader in the entire hemisphere in your efforts to deal with crime in a sensible, common sense way. If the world dreamed as you did, we would all be better off.
But seizing Chady's ranch was only the beginning. The government's next step would arouse worldwide controversy. If the courts did convict him of ordering the murders of the Babulal family, the government would revive the death penalty. The police persuaded Clint Huggins, a member of the gang which carried out the murders, to testify against the man he called the boss. Chady was about to be betrayed by a supergrass in his own ranks.
We knew that Dole Chady would leave no stone unturned to ensure his demise. As a result, we had to make sure that we had extra security in place to take care of any such eventuality.
Huggins was given round-the-clock protection in an army safe house. Here he gave details to the police and to Major General Brown about the Babulal murders.
They were asking the young fellow in the house, where's Mice? He said, well, Mice used to live there, but he doesn't live there anymore. Anyway, the description we got, he matched the description. So, guys went and asked her what she did. So, well, we both said to kill everybody. Went back and shot each of them in the head.
He gave graphic details of the previous murders that took place. He gave details of corruption involving policemen. He gave details of corruption involving 2 or 3 magistrates.
Within 2 months, the army discovered that Chady had offered a soldier $1 million bribe to kill Huggins.
The plot was that they would poison the water system to the safe house. We decided that we would go along with that plot, and we arranged to fake his death.
To make it look realistic, Huggins was given medicine to make him sick and muscle relaxant to make him lifeless. Then his body was removed by soldiers dressed as undertakers.
The press was alerted that Clint Huggins was dead, and his father supposedly identified the body. He was a very good actor, by the way. He was crying. He was interviewed by the press. And it was at that stage that the entire country became aware that Clint Huggins was dead.
An elaborate plot was then hatched to arrest the conspirators as the bribe was handed over.
We arranged that soldiers would play the part of vagrants in Port of Spain, and at the precise moment when the monies were being transferred from Dole Chady's henchmen to the soldiers who were dressed as vagrants, effected the arrest, and he was handed over to the police.
While the plotters were jailed for 15 years, Huggins was returned to his army safe house. Fatally, he became bored. And in early 1996, he decided to celebrate Trinidad's carnival. He gave his guards the slip and went to join the party.
He was a guy that loved his freedom. He felt he was invincible. And well, he didn't last 24 hours. He was murdered and his body was found in a burnt car on one of the highways in East Trinidad.
But the government had another weapon. A second member of the gang, Levi Morris, agreed to give evidence against Chady. In return, his life would be spared. The trial was the longest in Trinidad's history, keeping the public gripped for 56 days. Chady employed 12 lawyers, including Queen's Counsel from England. But with Morris's evidence crucial, all 9 were found guilty of the murders of the Babulal family. They were sentenced to death. A government that had come to power promising to hang convicted killers now had to live up to its promises. Ironically, the man with the power of life and death in his hands, the Attorney General, had long been an opponent of the death penalty.
When he was an ordinary politician, it made sense for him to campaign on human rights, on a human rights platform. Once he became Attorney General and given the background against which the party came to power, the crime rate and so on, then it was the politic thing to do to promote capital punishment.
When I became the Attorney General, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution and the laws of Trinidad and Tobago. And I felt it was my duty, I felt compelled that I had to move every obstacle in order to ensure that the public interest of Trinidad and Tobago was protected.
If the Attorney General was to succeed, he needed to overturn 20 years of his island's legal history. Though the death penalty had remained on the statute book, only one murderer had been executed in 2 decades. Lawyers kept people from the gallows by exploiting delays in a complex appeals system. The final court of appeal was the Privy Council in London. The law said that no one who had been on death row for more than 5 years could be executed. Because appeals took so long, the death penalty was usually commuted to life imprisonment.
The jury convicted him and the judicial process said that he was guilty. And we felt that unless the court said that he should not be executed, the executive arm of the state should do all in its power to ensure that the mandate of the people was carried out.
It became a cat and mouse game. The defense began a battery of appeals accusing the government of political motives, of breaching human rights. They said Chady and his gang had not been given a fair trial. Each time the government answered back. Everything had been done according to the law, and they wanted all murderers to face the ultimate penalty. Finally, the cases arrived at the Privy Council in London, which ruled that Trinidad was entitled to execute under its own constitution. All the appeals had been completed within 3 years. On June the 3rd, 1999, Chady and his gang members were read their death warrants. The first 3 were scheduled to hang at 6 a.m. the next day. 150 religious and political leaders, including Desmond Tutu, Jesse Jackson and John Hume, had made a last-minute plea for mercy, but the government rejected it.
त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनं उर्वारुकमियं बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षे मामामृत्या.
The day that many people gathered here this morning thought would never come has. Dole Chady, Joey Ramaya and Ram Kelawan Singh were all hanged this morning. Cipriani Batiste, prison's commissioner, says none of the men had any last words or tears.
The orders of the court have been carried out. He walked calmly to the gallows. He have made peace with his God.
The media celebrated, in a sense, the death by following the dead people, not only from the gallows, but right to the grave. You had this spectacle of pine boxes dripping with blood being put in unmarked graves. So blood and death for 3 days in Trinidad became a celebration, and it was quite appalling. Quite appalling.
The hangings provoked an international outcry, with the British government making a formal protest. But the people of Trinidad supported the executions. Polls suggested up to 90% backed the death penalty.
I think it's real good news. They should use Dole Chady and these men as an example. I think if justice was served there.
It's good to know, well then,
justice can be done, because people have going in and doing things like that and getting off, scotch free and things like that. I'm happy about the decision, because it's time this country, somebody do something about cleaning up this country.
Despite the controversy, Trinidad's leaders insisted that the executions were the only way to protect the country from the drug barons.
The government did not have an option of just locking him up. Dole Chedi had the ability to run his criminal rings even from the prison. And one could have just imagined that having killed, that he would have been in prison running a drug trade in which he would have been able to continue shipping cocaine, which would not only go to America, but would go to England and to go to Europe, and which would be used to poison the children of England.
It's now a year since Chedi and his henchmen were killed. Supporters of the death penalty insist the policy has worked. The murder rate, once a national disgrace, has been cut by 30% from its peak. Some crimes like burglary, assault and firearms offences have also been reduced, while robberies have fallen by a quarter.
I think the signal which the government sent in the actions it took meant that drug barons knew. They knew that we had the political commitment that we were not going to be terrorized and we were not going to be afraid of them. They knew that we were prepared to prosecute them, and if convicted, we were even prepared to execute them.
But opponents say this is only half the story. Crime overall has hardly dropped, and although 63 people are on death row, only a handful of them are drug dealers. Everyone agrees that arresting Dole Chedi and smashing his gang produced a spectacular drop in the murder rate. But critics say that this happened purely because Dole Chedi and his men spent so long in jail awaiting sentence. There was no need to kill them. The government, though, is pushing through new ways of speeding up the legal process. The hangings will continue.
So you was listening to a documentary on the Dole Chedi gang, and of course the fact that they executed them. I want to ask my listeners this afternoon, how old were you by the way when they executed Dole Chedi gang?
I probably was about 11, 12 something.
Yeah, I think I was either 9 or 10. So I did not know about this. Yeah, I didn't know about this really until I saw this documentary a few days ago, by the way. I mean, I heard about Dole Chedi gang and I knew that, they killed them and what they did, but to actually have a full-scale view of how the entire thing went down, to me, this is history. Yeah. So some of you may have remembered, some of you are from that era. We're going to talk about that inside this hour. Do you believe Trinidad and Tobago should reconsider the hanging? Swing them? Hold on, let me see. You're number 2, right? Mike, 2 or 3? 2. I think that's 2. Go ahead.
2, yeah. Hi, Isha. How are you?
How you doing, AJ?
I'm okay.
Nice.
For me, I believe that if you do a crime like that, you should be hanged. And I think that we should bring it back because it gets out of control. And the youths today, they have no sense of control. All right? So,
if a whole generation of us grew up and didn't know nothing about this, think about that.
Well, yeah. And it's hard to say because, we don't know and we didn't. And even if it is we know now, they might kick up against it. But again, we have no sort of, what is our go-to to get some control now?
So the lines are open. Those of you who were old enough to educate me and AJ, did the crime situation drop after the government of the day executed Dole Chedi and his gang? And could that assist us in the war against crime today? The lines are open. Feel free to call us. 342-0081, 771-1791, 466-5391. Already 80 shares on the live. Good afternoon to all of you on the live. I'm going to read your comments in a short while. Let's see who's there. Caller, you're live.
Pleasant afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, good. I remember distinctly when Janet Reno, at that time she was the Attorney General of America. And it brings back so much memory to me. Because I remember then, I used to do a lot of community work all in Williamville, Tabaki, Guaracara. And I remember when the helicopter had landed at the rehab center there now, in Piparo. I remember Janet Reno coming there. The officer in question would have been Mr. Reynolds Silva. He would have been the community development officer then. But I remember distinctly the morning of the family death. I remember it had a dance in Palms Club. If anybody could remember, long time Palms Club used to keep a lot of it, upstairs and downstairs. And those days, coming from Tabakit, you would have had to journey, and after the fete, a set of us would have taken a vehicle. And I remember that said morning, when we reached Guaracara Junction, we heard a family was just assassinated in Williamville. Yeah? It's a bit bittersweet moment for me. I was at age then, and at that time, I'll be honest, I was really into the Catholic Church. So the death penalty for me, I really was against it, even though at that time I used to do a lot of community work. And hearing this thing, it brings back so much memory to me. If you could remember, sometime last week, I told you about where the underworld is fueling mainstream economy. Now, I want to be very careful of what I say because, as I told you, I grew up in the community. As a matter of fact, I went to school with Dole Chedi nephews and they. And I remember he had a nephew, his name was Wally. And they would have executed him at Dole Chedi estate. At those days, the thing was right. So, hearing what you just play there, and I want to be so careful because I don't want to go because I'll tell you something. Even though they took him out, one of the things we have to ask ourselves, I think Dole Chedi's wife is still alive. And his children, one is an attorney. And there is several questions today. When you take out the head, and if the wife is alive. Now, if you take your mind after Dole Chedi execution, and you realize from time to time, and you would know about this, Isha, so I'm fast-tracking now. You realize from time to time, you hear a lot of business people, the children went missing. Let me stop there. Look, this thing is so deep. And listening to it, at that time, well, I was really on the scene in terms of finding out what's going on in the country and all this.
So, Tabaki, do you think after they executed them, crime went down in Trinidad?
It went down a bit. However, one of the things you have to understand, and it's very sticky where I'm going now, the entire underworld and the movement then, it would have seemed as though if it would have gone on the back burner. But in truth and frank, if today we examine, and I hope as you're doing this, if you could bring in Darius Figueroa, I know you had him sometime last year or year before, and on the backdrop of this, if you bring things what I would be scared to say, Darius Figueroa would be able to burst the seams open. I don't think he's in Trinidad because I think he had migrated due to some threats. somewhere in one of the English-speaking Caribbean countries. He's somewhere there. But I want to be so careful because I was at age, was my prime, young time, hip, Demorius Hortley. Those days I wasn't called Tabaki because you didn't, some of the activists who saying they're activists today, there was nowhere around them. Yeah? So perhaps you may say, but Tabaki, what's your age now? Nevertheless, I look damn good from age because you receive me very regularly. But let me come back inside it. What it tells me, what we have to ask ourselves, if we carry out the death penalty today, and let me answer your question now. If we carry out the death penalty today, whether or not if it will solve the crime problem, my answer to that is no. I'll tell you why. You see, if we're dealing with the underworld, which fuel mainstream economy, how you starting to dismiss such? And now the whole cry is how you're going to deal with the entire justice system. Now, if you, in the clip, before they had executed him, you realize you heard certain things, and it's time that I come off this air. Within 30 seconds, this clip will destroy. I out.
But what kind of James Bond thing is this, boy? Tabakit, your head good? All of that to say within 30 seconds, the clip will be destroyed. Tabakit, head good? Caller, your life.
Hi, Miss Wells. Good evening.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm fine. I'm alive in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm glad to hear that you make me feel that I'm real old, you know.
Why?
Because last week we had this conversation concerning the great attorney.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I brought it back with you in mind.
So thank you very much. Seeing that the younglings, the younger ones, has now understood. And here we're going on. Today, we have people going to court to tell me to categorize murder. And see, yeah, imagine that. The man write a letter to the law lords, and you know who was the Attorney General who came to Trinidad at the time? What was her name? A female Attorney General.
From where?
America, you just played her in your clip.
Okay.
You know what her name was? Her name was Janet Reno, the first female Attorney General in the America. Her name was Janet Reno. So my boy decided to get pips and tell them I execute some people who are selling poison. And the same English government turn around and tell him, how could you do such a thing? Execute these men. And I tell people he didn't execute the men to stop crime. He executed the men because the man, imagine the man have $1 million, and that was only $1 million hiding in a hole in the yard. And Tabaki afraid to talk because why? The first person to get kidnapped was a man who named all over the bamboo, selling motorcar parts. A man planting in a garden, see a car going up in Lopino. In everybody go and we call it Cora. And see the car going up in Cora and decide the man is the little fella in the school uniform and call the police. And so they save this man's son. You know that? After that is kidnapping, after kidnapping, after kidnapping. What was the name of the brothers from Church Street? They create, so when you tell yourself you kill one, they stop one, they created another one. You ever have a kid ask you if Dolce's wife is still alive? Because the businessmen, supermarket owners who had demand money because he couldn't put it in the bank. So he decided, I tell you, the same Attorney General will go to court with the man and tell the man every time he go to court, the man is a businessman. You see how much land he sees and how much temple he buy and how much he this and he that. And when he done, he turn around and hang the same man. And today the same people come in to tell me now, don't hang them. Categorize the murder. And let me tell you again, murder hasn't been come off the books, right, Isha? Murder is still on the books. Right? So the young man that you have next to you, murder is still there. We have a Pratt and Morgan issue, where after 3 or 4 years, if you don't hang them within that time, the Pratt and Morgan thing falls into play, and they could appeal the matter, and then you have to just keep them inside. That is the problem we have. The problem we have is because of the law system, that there are lawyers preventing this thing from going on and then use the Pratt and Morgan to save people. All right? Because Mr. Manning had tried it too, if you remember that. And it's time, black people, we start waking up and understand the opposition is the only function when it's for them. And when it's not for them, I mean, they allow all to kill each other when they done it wrong and lock all you up. Imagine that. They went in tongue when they tell them, unleash the dogs of war. Lock them up, we go find the evidence after. And how much of them they lock up? 9,000? And today they come in to talk about the Begonians and black people. And I shall enjoy the evening.
Thank you so much, my brother. Let's go to the phone line, see who's there. Caller, you're live.
Namaste. Good afternoon to you. Isha Wells.
Hey, how you doing?
That's by corner by man. Isha Wells, it starts to say that you ask a question. And the question is that if crime go down when those shady murder. My comrade and my good friend come and give us a whole lecture about his name wasn't that to answer the question. No, crime did not go down. Simple, yes or no? And then now you have Bataria calling out, can I stay away from race and UNC and Indian? A simple question to have to get a solution to analyze if the hanging man at this time, if it will work. But Isha Wells, we have the solution. You did it already. We did it already. Stop crime in this country for months. But the government don't want to hire us. They want to hire senior counsel who can advise. They want to hire people who from the ghetto and understand the crime and understand the youth and understand the system where they're going through. So the simple thing I am saying this, the hanging man will not stop crime. Because Isha Wells, them boys we don't know. When I get home, I go and hang. So if I kill one time. That is what that hanging man will bring. The hanging man will bring them young boys who robbing and go and thief. When they go and rob, they will go and kill one time because they don't already. If I get home, I go in straight and get hanged. Isha Wells, today, people are afraid to go and get locked up to go to the police because they're afraid that the dead underneath the police watch. So when Bataria always going down this race road, always going down this Indian road, and this Kamala road and this opposition road, that we didn't help African people, boy. Boy, that could never help African people, boy. A solution. Stop blaming these people and them for your downfall, for our downfall. Stop blaming them. Because Isha Wells, even self, but as Bataran and be saying, the East Indian bringing guns and drugs. I'll put it like how Mr. Bego said. Even self Isha Wells, people are bringing guns. Do you go take the guns? You so foolish and stupid. So it's the Africans to blame. Because if the Africans are foolish to go and take the guns and go and take the drugs, who is to blame? The East Indian, the Chinese, 1% Isha Wells, but around them so is we have our community with bloodshed. But around them so is we have our community in poverty. And that is why today, if you go to Gonas, Superior, Kuva, Naparima, all the UNC areas, the development is going on underneath the PNM. Look Lavanton. Look where he lived in Batarade. Look Mova. Look Diego Martin. No $1 million contract. All the $1 million contract is in the UNC areas. You hear, as I was, you know who's suffering more under PNM? That is Indian, you know. The East Indian go to go for the next 40 years. The Chinese go to go for the next 100 years. Where the Syrians, okay, you know who catching the ass? People like Bataria and PNM people. So I am saying this, Isha, this race talk, this blaming the Indians, blaming the camera, and saying how the Indians bring it. Okay, so the Indians putting guns in African hand. They go in Lavantan, they go out and say, look guns, or hold guns. And the Africans so huge and they say, our African youth so stupid. Bataria, you trying to say our African youth so foolish? Bataria,
what's the question you want to ask?
Wow, I don't know what we taking now.
Your headphones, that's what bringing the feedback. Your headphones loud. Yeah, you can take it off. You there?
Nice.
Nice.
So, what is the strategies that you all, I heard him just now, and he said that you all had something that you all did before that.
Oh, and it was the peace treaty.
But how many peace treaty that we have?
A lot. Over the years, we have had a lot.
And
it stopped for 30 days. The longest it stopped when we did it was 60 days. Gladiator did it, it stopped for 30. I did it, it stopped for 60. And I think
how many more peace treaties that we could do? Because honestly, there are different things, if you realize, that create different gangs. Now, it's the same gang, it's just a different entity that they go to now. You understand? One was something that they were fighting for because of their own base or whatever, and then it's something to do with your religion, and then all these different things that created a reason to fight. You understand? And every time you all go to a peace treaty, they find another way. So
I think having a peace treaty and not disarming yourself makes no sense.
Exactly.
Because if there's no gun amnesty...
How could I disarm myself if I'm unsure that you would disarm
But if
yourself?
everybody in her arms, who will kill who? So
Well,
once
again-
you have a peace treaty, the next step, and I attempted to get the Minister of National Security at the time, which was Austin Jack Warner, to have a gun amnesty. Pay them. Pay them for the guns. Most of these guys, if they get money, they will go into business. They're business oriented. They will open companies, they will do this, they will do that. Let them bring in their guns, all of them. And pay them, let them go into business and give up the life for crime.
Okay.
I had suggested that, but it didn't go that way. And what you're saying makes sense. You know, we have the peace treaty, and it just takes one fool, as it always does, to violate, and then the bacchanal starts all over again.
And you see, the thing now is that the reached the point where it reached to the music. It reached to the point that if you sing something that not glorifying this side, you're glorifying the next, and then they would kill you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's sickening. But could it be, and that's again what we're asking,
How you
because
gonna
a
fix
whole
that?
generation of us grew up not knowing about this hang thing. We know it on the law books, but nobody will ever get hung.
Yeah.
Jail has become the norm for plenty of them because they understand the jail system. Some of them comfortable making their jail time.
Some of them actually prefer being in jail because
it preserves their life.
Yeah.
Let me be real. When you want to pardon, you make a little bacchanal, police lock you up, you pardon
Take
for a
some
few
time
years in
in
the
jail.
jail,
Yeah.
you come back out on top of your game. The jail economy is a different economy by itself, and plenty of them have learned the skill and the trade to survive in it. Could it be because there's a generation of us that have no fear for this because it didn't exist in our time frame? Why the madness continue to go on? And would it have an effect if it is enforced today? Let me just say today we wake up and the government hang who's on death row. Will the nation stand still? You think these little boys going and stand still?
I believe that because of the rage that these young adults have now, I would say, they are built in a way in which you take them out, this is my turn. If you come at me, it has somebody else are going to take my place. That is how they set their mindset because...
And I beg to disagree. Plenty of them just be all bad, you know, until they faced in that. Then you just see how bad they really is.
As I said, there are some that mindset is set already like that because they already see the brother, the family member, whatever, going on. They have so much rage that at that stage is either do or die.
I hear that. The lines are open. We're taking your calls. We're playing some voice notes and coming back to the phone lines.
Isha, good afternoon. I think they should bring back the hanging. I wonder if a lot of you all don't know about the Pulul brothers and Boise Singh. All those were notorious young men in Trinidad and Tobago. So if they don't bring back the hanging to set an example, and they should do it fast as soon as they convict them, if they go privy council, as soon as they lost, clip their wings. It's the only thing to cope down that crime down in Trinidad. The hangman was doing a good job. And next thing they could do again is bring back the cat and nine tail. I mean, Mano get a lot and he come back out strong, but the way these young people eat, they can't stand that cat and nine tail. So bring back the cat and nine tail and the hanging, and everything will be cool.
Isha Wells, you remember Bulls and Tooks? I think it's Bulls and Tooks. 2 black men from Lavantil, the baddest men in Lavantil. They leave and they went to Caroni. And when we find them, they cut off their hand and foot and put it in the stomach and put a penis in the mouth. And black people still want to sell drugs and when every time we have one who dead from COVID. Kingsley, why you don't tell them stop put on the guns? Why you don't tell them? Why Anderson don't call and tell them clean up their act? Where I could drive in the beat and buy a wings and fries or a fish and fries. I could drive down Shogunat and ain't fighting. But I can't drive in the beat and fix a tire. So come on. That's why Isha Wells talk about peace treaty, because we fighting amongst ourselves. You don't see Shogunat fighting against Shogunat, eh? I never talk nothing about race. I only describe the former Attorney General. I never talk nothing about race. Kingsley, what they worried about? And it's the fact, Dole Chidi wasn't African. And enjoy the evening.
Let's see who's there. Caller, you live.
Hello, good afternoon, Aisha.
Good afternoon, there.
The same thing Kingsley called just now and say about the politics races. He talking about Anderson. Every day it's Anderson. You put on a program, a documentary. You're talking about Joel Cherry and his gang and whatnot and things. Kingsley calling. You understand? Why we had this bias, I have to jump in and talk about Anderson and Anderson. Stick to the program. We really don't in this country. So don't have big man. You understand? Make every day the same thing. I just do this I say every day. And he calling me all of a sudden want to have voice note every day. Everything about Anderson and Kingsley and the UMC and the UNC. Come on. It's time for you to buck up on yourself. Or ain't too much of that coming to. Or ain't getting to what's of that coming to. I'm so tired. And every day a big man. So in the listening. And when I listen to you and I said that I right to Anderson, Kingsley, the UNC, the leader. Come on, man. Time to talk about positive things. I'm always talking about racing. I got black woman and I young and I close. Come on, I'm doing that. What will I do? I'm going forward. I voice not again. Enjoy it, Aisha.
All right, Queen, have an awesome day. Let me play some more voice notes. I am coming back to the phone lines.
Auntie Aisha, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. I was around literally, still am around, when Mr. Dolce and his gang was hung, right? I could remember the graphic details and stuff. It was said that the whole prison yard, Golden Grove, was in silence when that morning had arrived, right? And the murder rate, based on what I knew, it really, really went down, right? It really, really did, right? Secondly, Mr. Brother Kingsley, rather if you can't blame people for having places in poverty, right? Sometimes we as human beings, I always say education is the way out of poverty, right? 2,000% education is the way out of poverty. I have seen for myself that there are young men who could do better, and instead of doing better, they decide to go and rob people and steal from people and stuff like that. Not everything lies on the government. Even though we elect the government, yes, the government can create it. The government can solve problems, and they can create problems. The government can create solutions and also make some wrong mistakes in doing so as well, right? But it's not everything we have to blame the government for. Sometimes, wholly and solely, it is us to be blamed as human beings. right? So it doesn't really matter if UNC or PNM, both of them make mistakes, right? And as I said, both parties can either be the problem or the solution. All right? Have a good one.
Thank you so much. The lines are open. Caller, you're live.
Tabakit here back again. Now, I wish the callers really stick to this, because I'll tell you why. Now, pleasant afternoon to the co-host with you. What's his name?
AJ.
Right. Pleasant evening to you, AJ. Let me get back on track. Now, yes to gun violence, yes to peace treaty and gun amnesty. But where Trinidad is sitting presently, if you hang out all those boys in the prison, and I want to keep it real with you and Brother AJ. Let's go there. Even though you hang out all in the prison, that still will not solve the problem. You see, what you have to understand with the proliferation of drugs, it brings in guns. Understand that? So if you're sitting in an island, and when you look at geographical space, when you look at Latin America, South America, and understand Trinidad is a transshipment for drugs. Let's speak to it now. You take out some. What you would do. So I am saying, yes, you want to hang. But how do we clean up the justice system? How do we clean the diplomatic pouch? How do we clean these things? As a matter of fact, last week I missed the news. And on the port, the chief officer is saying, and this is not politics here, let's deal with the fact. She's saying the equipment is not working. And my sister and AJ, if that is the case, well, then we have drugs coming in here and guns coming in here undetected. You see, yes, we want a solution. And what is real-time solution? Hang out as much as we can hang out, but the people to the top who control the diplomatic pouches and the people who is there. So I don't want to stay long because the program is nice. But let me close with this. The big question, yes, I heard the brother where the prison will get silent when they read it. As a matter of fact, in my suitcase, I have all those magazines with the blood dripping off the blocks in our old suitcase. You know, it have some people like to keep old papers and so on. I have all those things. I could bring it for you, Sister Isha.
I would love to see it.
Yes, I have it. I'll go in the bottom of the suitcase. I have all of those things there. And let me say this. In order for we to deal with our crime problem in Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, you've got to deal with the containers, the borders. Understand this. Listen, Isha, you don't have school right now, so you have virtual learning. So we will have, let's say, for this term, how much children will fall through the system. Meanwhile, you have the people to take them up. Understand that. So it is easy to say peace treaty, amnesty, and all these things. Now we're dealing with the ground. And I pray that the commissioner and the national security minister, together with the National Security Council, this is not politics, it's real. When they could come to us and tell us they have a comprehensive plan to flush out the top and not flush the ground and hang out the prison. Tabakit is saying to all you this evening, we're spinning top in mud. Yes, it will go silent, but the drug trade remains.
Thank you, Tabakit. We're going until 7 o'clock this evening. I have a whole heap of voice notes to play and a lot of calls on the line. Don't go nowhere. We're going until 7 o'clock. I will return right after this break.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
to eat right now in the back. Yeah, jam. We go tingy-licky, tingy-licky, tingy-licky. Israel vibes and we beat it right here in the back. Yeah, jam. Hey, go shut in the kitchen. Grab my pot and then start beating your head. When we had most summer wine, ask girl to show off she bumper. Who will go down, start wine and roll it like a racing hind. We don't need no big promoter. The neighbors could be responsible. Hey, when you see the police, tell them we not mashing up the street. We are in the back. Yeah, jam. We go tingy-licky, tingy-licky, tingy-licky. Israel vibes and we beating iron right here in the back. Yeah, jam. Hey, go straight in the kitchen. Grab my pot and then start beating your head. Level. Alright, the backyard making their own rhythm section. Alright, section 1. Here one way to sing for me. Sing this. Ping, 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 pa-ting. Ping, ping. Nice. Section 2. Join in with this one. Hey. Bang, bang, bing, bing, bang, 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 bing, bing, bang. Nice. Section 3. The sweetness of the sections. Here what you singing. Nice. Oh, you're something good. Hey, let me jam. We go bring my friends and we bring your friends and we friends will all line together. Just decide who hosts we lining in. This place are real vibes right here in the back. Yeah, jam. We go tingy-licky, tingy-licky, tingy-licky. Israel vibes and we beat it like right here in the back. Yeah, jam. Hey, go straight in the kitchen. Grab my pot and then start beating your head. They say no carnival. Me I really like it, but we got to accept it. They can't keep me locked down too long, you know. Right in the backyard. Lock up all your door. Lock up all your gates. If the police come, give them something to eat. We can't take it lock up all the time. The spirit is carnival. Put you up. Bolo get my roads first thing. Chase are done. We have to drink straight. Look, the police coming, low down the music, the police is coming. I ain't taking no lock up for you know. You know they go call for my name. Hey officer, what's up?
When you text on the street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live.
Expert lad, say big up the south and the east and the west, girl, them all me tongue and my sour from them. Say anywhere you see me there, I full squad there with me, and anywhere we there, his woman in me favor, lad. And if you want find there, right by the girl there, woman in me favor, lad. Say if you want find there, right by the band there with me, hand up there, can't stop there, jamming on somebody woman. thinking. Well, lot them people crazy. She kick out she phone and calling. I don't know what she's saying. Carry them people mad. But we just have to bet, to be bet, to be bet, to be bet, to be bet, and with no regrets. We come out to bet, to be bet, to be bet, to be bet, to be living here soaking wet. Tell them, say anywhere you see me there, I will squad there with me. I kiss and drinks with
We are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. 1 minute after the hour of 6 o'clock. I'm going to play some voice notes and come back to your phone calls.
Good afternoon, Aisha. Tobago in the house. I could recall I was following the stories with the Dolce gang. I was following it. And the only one I felt a little sorry for was the driver when he got hung. I find he shouldn't have gotten hung. I say he could have gotten either life imprisonment or something. But nevertheless, in today's society that we have here with all these little monsters going around, them don't care. I find it's time enough that we start to put back some fear into them and start back the hanging. I find so. If there were a little 1 or 2 little hangman, oh God, I could volunteer. Yes, I don't mind. Or even if they change it and use the injection, let me do American styling. Because
Kingsley, yeah, you ever hear what the fella called Sadiq Bash? When they find coke in the water tank? That is the man that introduced coke in Laventi and beat him.
Aisha, good evening. Here what's going on. You see that stripper talk about how they do blame? Aisha, good evening. You see that stripper talk about how not to blame the government for anything? So who responsible for the state of the country? You know when UNC was in power, they used to blame UNC for everything. What kind of stripper talk they talking on this radio show this evening, boy? Aisha, good evening.
Aisha, listen Kingsley just now. I want to know what Kingsley doing to help the people in Laventille and his black brothers. If Kingsley only talking and say that crazy stuff there, I wonder if Kingsley realize, and a lot of people realize, what the People Partnership do from the Caroni River going down the road and fix up all the people right. What they do for Laventille and the East-West Corridor. Let Kingsley tell me what UNC did for the East-West Corridor when they was in power. And talking and said that stupidness on the people radio. Kingsley, you're doing nothing for your black brothers.
All right, thank you. Caller, you live.
Hi, Aisha.
Hey, how you doing? Leave it there.
I didn't realize you came out today.
Yes, I came in a little late this afternoon. They called me out, boy.
Oh, Lord. You see when you're beginning to dance?
Well, you seeing that?
That's what we're talking about. Aisha, back in the days, I used to be shouting out from the top of my voice for gun amnesty. Because at the time, New York and Miami were filling barrels, buying back guns, Aisha, buying back guns. And I used to be calling out Sandy and the white man commissioner of police who they brought here, saying no. And if you ask Gary after today, he will say no. Aisha, they ain't ready yet. I will leave it here.
I don't have to answer. You can't frighten me not to send a voice note because your contribution makes no sense. Until you could respond to my contribution, that I could drive in the beatam and purchase something. Until we stop fighting amongst ourselves. 5th Street against 10th Street, dotish black people, that's what I'm telling you. It's listen to my contribution. I'm not pressing anybody. I'm pressing the way we function. So this is my phone. When you pay my phone bill, then you can tell me to call. To hell with you. Aisha, good evening. Again. Some night I asked Brother Mohammed, because we had this concept that Syrians are drug dealers. So I heard Brother Mohammed some night, and so I called him and I asked him, Brother Mohammed, are all black people in Trinidad and Tobago gangsters and murderers? He answered, is all black people in Laventille gangsters and murderers? So is all Syrian drug dealers? You know, he couldn't answer that one. He refused to answer that one. And that is the problem we have. We had to check ourselves as people. We're looking at other people. Dolce wasn't a drug dealer. Why shouldn't we talk about him? If we could talk about the Syrian, why we can't talk about the man that they executed and they sell the UNC self? I'm not being racist. He's an Indian, I'm an African. That's the fact. Executed a man that he was defending. Why we can't be fact? The biggest drug dealer in Trinidad and Tobago, known drug dealer in Trinidad and Tobago to be executed is of East Indian descent. Wake up now, people. Why are we afraid to talk that? But we want to talk about the Syrian and the Syrian and the Syrian. No, they didn't find cocaine in Sadiq Bash water tank. Was a missile. Sadiq Bash went to court to answer for a missile and I think a hand grenade or something of that nature. That matter went on for years. I think he eventually win the matter.
Thank you so much. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Aisha.
Hey, how you doing, Rowley Jr.?
I am very good. I have to come to the defense of my colleague this evening. You see why? Because when I heard this sister, I say, what a thing. You know how we colloquial in our expression. What a thing. A man, mature as he is, very, very mature, telling fellas on the radio every day, blaming everybody else for the problem, telling listeners, when you make a comparative analysis on communities, the only people to make your community safe big time is you. The Beacom process is situated between two of the major strips. I always make that point. And you can't stop to get a bacon shack. And that woman, Caroline. A woman who could be a cook on the Camarero, and who could be part of the tourism drive, you know. She quarreling, you know, because my colleague tell them, when you compare crime from a drug dealer who used to live in Piparo, where you had no smoking, he make one killing within 5 miles of Piparo, and he got the same. You know what killing in this area? You cannot drive to Piparo cool and nice, you pass in front of his house. You cannot join the people because of fear. I shall not because people, you know, see that everybody in the region is the same, you know. What makes the community safe is that, hey, Beacom is famous for, yes, you see how Baby is famous for others? Beacom in Tonga to be famous for something. I have to go quite by the Savannah to get my Texas chicken. I have to go quite by the Savannah to get the man supermotor. I can't go more, I can't go cook and drive a plate. And that's just the man thing. Well, one of the biggest tourism you have in your country is the people themselves, you know. The movement of people in America, you will know that on Thanksgiving Day, is movement of people for real rising economy. In other countries during a holiday, people can't go to Lebanon because they're scared. They go down, you know what? Excursion going down in areas in south, to the south. It's already rich people. They make the money and already turn into that. You see, the whole thing about it's all about the school, you know. It's about common sense. So the man says, Kingsley and honest one you often tell us something that could do good for your community. That is an urban place where it could be dancing, shopping on the highway. I should be able to get help. I am afraid because prices of the more help me. We need to change that. A woman calling to that. You see? That's our problem. Before I go, I said, listen, you never heard during Dolce time, plenty East Indian, and people feel it's racist, for that East Indian for that time. It's called for Charles Kill. It's the king, this, it's that. Only African people kill him, with Indian man being the drug man. And we have seen that as yet. And when the African fellas allegedly above anything, you know that? African fellas. Now this is not a threat to people of any particular race. We just want to teach all you that if all the right place, there's always a conversation that they're bringing in the guns, but we just pick it up. I'm not saying it. We don't make guns. But when you go in areas and you look on social media, it's only our people carrying it. And a woman takes for that. You see how hard it is? That's why it makes it hard for the politicians, because politicians could never engender the kind of thing you need for your community. It's your parents and you. And if they do it, you know to take care of it, Aisha? The police. Have a good evening. Aisha, before I go, I just want to say good evening to Mr. Chance on his new program, Mr. Chance. and Sharon Felix.
Thank you so much, Rowley Jr. Thank you so much. I have some voice notes to play. I have some calls to take. Let me see how quickly I can do this. I'll play a voice note and then take some calls.
Aisha, good afternoon. You see that whole talk where... Aisha, good afternoon. You see the narrative they're talking about, don't blame the government for anything. I mean, you can't blame the government for everything, but at the same time, you have to hold them accountable for the state of the country, because they don't want to hold PNM accountable, but they still blaming Kamala. Why they blaming Kamala for if you don't have to blame the government for everything? You understand what I'm saying? Basically, the government policies and the government initiatives is what caused the country to be in the state that it is in now. Only them old geriatric type of people with one way of thinking will think never to blame PNM for anything, but they always want to blame UNC. And PNM bring demerit points for taxi drivers to lose their whole livelihood over just stopping on a no parking sign, but crime and kidnapping out of control. Who you go blame for that, Kamala? Boy, rest me with this stupidness, eh? Only race and race they studied. When UNC was in power, they blaming UNC for everything.
All right, caller, you're live.
Pleasant good day to you, Aisha. Paul here.
Hi, Paul.
How you doing? I'm good. Listen to this now, Aisha. And that person who stated in the voice, we cannot allow to continually blame other governments, right? And I am saying that in terms of this government, we need to keep them accountable, because it come like me now. When it is I was managing the Center for Canada, when that supervisor leave and I got promoted as the manager, I am now responsible for that center. So whatever she did, I had to vamp it and make new decisions in order to run the center efficiently, just as a government, right? So we have to put the government accountable for what is taking place right now and stop blaming the vaccine, stop blaming COVID, and stop blaming the opposition. Thank you.
Hey, Paul, you're running out your whole self. Caller, you're live.
Hey, hi, Aisha, for the day.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, dear. I just listened to your interesting program this season.
Thank you.
What I want to say is that I agree with the hangman, and just for the listening audience, I some people may say that I have things to do, but I will tell you something. The hangman or the death penalty is something that would not only get rid of the criminals and the murderers and deter them, it will also help in assisting the people who are in crime to deter them. So it will be beneficial for both sides if you look at it in a positive way, right? Now, to me, it really hurts my heart to see young people, right? And as we all know right now, right, there's a lot of the rate of my African brothers and sisters being killed and being used in crime. When you look at it, the statistics will tell you, and it is not a nice thing. It is alarming, because look at how much young children today are fatherless in these areas that are things. So I don't really agree with Rowley Jr., but the things that he said is things I have been saying for years. Why push people away from your area or even yourself by doing drugs, when you can just open a barbecue place or sell vegetables or do something that will bring people to your community? As he rightly said, you can't even stop to fix a tire. That should not be so. You understand? Those areas have a lot of things, nice things to offer. I deal with a lot of people in Vitam and Nova and all these places, and it's really, really nice people. It's just a handful of people who are causing these things. But what are we doing as a people?
Thank you so much, caller. Let's see who else is there. Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live.
Good day, Isha.
Hey, how you doing, Anderson Wilson?
But I'm doing so great. Very good. And as we speak, I saw Leah now leave from Champlain. He come by 9, she call her version. Aisha, you're like girl on the ground. Look how jolly and everybody in front there. Everybody in front, they're talking about that. A good time you see that Tuesday. They're talking about that. Aisha, had any murder in the beat somebody here?
No.
Last year?
I can't remember it having any last year.
Only murder on the beat somebody long as far as with the pregnant woman with the police. That's the only murder. Beat up anybody rape, anybody beat up. You ever hear anybody beat up molest any little child? Is that completely that child and we can turn out? So I tried to call in a pastor to go program earlier on with the initiative I have. Not only me, Shoma Wilson and others, to really try and bring back youth, children, not more children, youth, children. And with more police, I come into the Dolce thing just now. And with more police, and I come into all reflections. I'm not against them because they are citizens. Paul, I'm not talking about you. Right? Right? I don't have the youth and them. A lot of this going astray. I don't come about children here, children. I keep saying youth. But they are the future, they are missing youth. But when you say youth song, we talk about them over 20 and them kind of thing. We find them in the road. Some of them are too late. So we want the community police inspector charge on others. You must see them now. Shepherdman must see them now. She must see them now. One police or in the district that these children, you must see them be many police have anything with children. I just gone and then a free Elton and Isha. So we want to bring back them children and then. Sometimes they're strained on the road. Our mother might have too much to see about the father drinking and sometimes my father in around. And that's the thing I would have liked Gary Griffith to do. And I don't bash him, the most. Right? I get one of them with him. He's the commissioner of police. And I want to see something happen in the beat for them chair. Now back to your program now. One only challenge every morning challenge and we just tell each other morning. Every morning. And if I want to see Jelly John, just say, listen, I know how you have to go to work. So meet me there. Right? Sometimes I forget to go. By parliament. Come every day we text one another. Dr. Munila is talking about. But whatever such moral values, Isha, the father never taught us to beg politicians. And also too, I think next month might be raised a pay for me. It's 12 years now I'm permanent by Coconut Growers Association. That's what they say opposite me there, Isha. Yeah, I the contractor and maintain the wall and everything. For 12 years. 12 years, stupid man. So Anderson working. Why they was talking about Anderson yesterday, she. Anderson was, then I mean, all this other things about the deserters, I quite don't, when you talk about, why you talking about me? I was coming on with Apello. Chickamans, avocados on the side. Why you talking about me this morning? Yeah, I love ice cream bag. I love ice cream bag. You know how hungry mouth well fella. Right? Why you talking about me yesterday? Ice cream I was having. I just take my bed early because it's bigger than night. You understand? You call you understand when you 15 children can't beat pan, stupid man. They can play pan. They can play chipper dinner. They can bass. They can dinner. They can play the pan upside down. They can play the guitar. And they can go on and on. And that was the initiative. You ever get here? I think she the ministry culturism. Them trying to play pan to this stupid man. To understand this stupid man. She got to have nothing against homosexuals. Some of them are big, some of them in big places. So you have to know what you're talking about because I have nothing against Down syndrome. We tell the people, but they are citizens, I had gone down to them. Only Down syndrome I doesn't go to some of them politicians. I can call them by name. But I will go there in a timing. So stupid man, understand, to understand. And I want to do is security officers right now to understand when to show my Wilson too. And that's some police to curry myself. And that's two is police right now and one in the army. To me, and that's some civilian got the leader who is fireman now to understand Wilson. Because the father never taught us in best village days and village council. That the church want to have and beat them now and church and that. That when they go and they get things a donation, they keep it and they keep for yourself.
Thank you so much, Anderson. Let's play some voice notes.
Aisha, I want somebody to call in and let you know where the Westmall building right now is only mangrove. And it's right somewhere inside of there, but this thing was carrying on all the bacchanal with boat and thing going from end to end. I want somebody who know could call in and confirm that. Right where the Westmall, it was only mangrove. Right there.
Aisha, hear what going on, eh? The caller was right. It's really we to blame for the state of the country because it's we vote that stupidness into office.
Let's see who's there. Caller, you're live.
A blessed afternoon, Miss Isha Wells.
Hey, blessed afternoon, bro.
Is a set of issues surrounding hanging, right? But I'll just try to explain why notice now. You see, in 1979 was the last hanging before Dolce and them, when they come and start back hanging in 1999, if you was watching here. You see the Privy Council, you see the human rights bodies, all of them playing a part in making sure that those evil spirits that are in the jail right now for the blood shed on the victims still keep on crying out for them to be joined by the victims that they murdered. If you was watching you. Right now, they have people waiting just for the government to say they start hanging for them to file court case against it. But here we're going on, Aisha. Life for life. If you was watching you, is life for life. And until all those evil spirits that inside there, you see the Pattern Morgan business about the 5 years, they had to clean out inside there before that 5 years. And then with the fresh set here now, make sure that the speedy trial, make sure that these evil spirits reach and lie down with the victims that they took. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Caller, you're live.
Good evening again, Aisha. The law for hanging is there. Dr. Oli made the point already in the parliament. It's there. The Pattern Morgan that, I think it pushes that whenever you have what you call appeal, it must be done within a 5-year period because after that it would come across as not abused, but you're having a man lingering to hang. It's there. Our justice system's slow. But Aisha, the bigger picture is why should I have to use the hangman for people to behave themselves? And I want to tell the fellow talking about PNM and UNC and them kind of thing, about the PNM running the country. Aisha, let me compliment, there's a lot of people out there, UNC supporters, East Indian people who are not UNC supporters too, living in areas that you consider poor, but they're happy. You know why? The social development ministry, they use that big time. When you come out, you see them line up there. They get their money, they live simple, they sell things. Those are the poor people down here. Sell things, simple things, and they make a living. They use what the government, the only people, like this one we call them, talk about PNM. Them so don't want to do nothing. I want to pick up something and sell. They say when you see that the whole issue of COVID and everything, people sell more. Drive down south. When you reach where South Park is, just come off that highway there. And when you drive up, you would see our Indian people there selling. Right? I know when I come in town in the savannah, I wait until after 6, 7. Like I said, I'll go and get my soup, I'll get my Jamaican jerk and everything. I shall try to support. But you know what it is? The arrogance of people. And this is not about you, It's about your community. And you're correct, they may not have crime, but the fear exists. Because don't tell me, I just want to drive down what the street, not Paradise, the name of the street, and drive in there. And at least see the people and so on. But I'm telling you, if you're full, you just want to go. I want to go picked up by the church. Don't tell me, and know the place. I'll be willing. But Anderson is to take away the fear. They're doing south among the Indian people because if you want to talk so. They're doing the dry season. They have a cricket league. African people display football. Anderson, develop a football league. Let's start from 5 years. And let me see them play. It's not about you. Karim is a great example for Beatum. But listen, Karim did it, and you all did it well. But you know what? We want to hear more. Because what we heard in a success in areas for one black man or two black men, in areas down in South, poor areas, master's degree and bachelor's degree like rain. So, you see, that's the whole thing about it, is if you take the government out of your brain and you use what government is offering, you won't believe how much headway you make. How much, and we want leadership sometimes outside of government. Aisha, is that the whole thing about hanging for me is that when Dr. Organ, they go to the parliament and he make laws for people to declare their wealth, you know just protect them? The ridiculous people who don't know anything come in and say it's poor people and come let us run with it, and people feel that we blaming her. No. When you bring laws that could punish politicians, I heard you, Isha, was advocating for that at one time. Laws that could punish politicians when they thief, then we could really push the hangman big time. Big time. Big time. But for now, I want to tell my people, there's a lot of things out there that other races using for the upliftment. You all stay there and ask the government, Dr. Rowley, 70-something years, he's going to move, he's going to come back. Everybody's going to be thinking that you're going to still there talking about the government because of people who have a phone card and have a tongue to call on the radio to tell you that P&M causing all the problem. Wait there. Have a good evening, Aisha. Take care.
Thank you so much. Remember, we're going until 7. Like the video, share the live. We have a break to take in a short while.
I want to talk, sell it. Take a drive, show go on us and go by Price Smart wrong way Price Smart is there. Movie tongue all around there. There's a big sign, no vending. And watch, if there's 100 vendors there, 80 or 90 of them are not of my race. And understand that the point we're trying to tell you. You see them same train you talk about what beating pan and playing music? I can drive in the beatem and see them cheering and them on the football field that Kamala Bill fall, yeah? And I could pull up there and hear music and buy a little barbecue and sit down and listen to them play the music and eat and drink and then get up and leave. Had to frighten, but gunplay. But you know all who is she and all who is this and all who is that. Now I tell all you, deal with the contribution and not with the post. All you want to get personal. I never get personal with all you go ball. Enjoy evening, ma'am.
Like you have personal files or what? We have a minute before the break. Caller, you have a minute in your contribution.
Okay, Aisha, let me tell Anderson something. When they were lobbying and tendering for the state-of-the-art community center and the pavilion in the Beacon Estate, right? Why it not being used for the youth in the area, right? Millions of dollars were millions of dollars were spent on that pavilion and that state-of-the-art community center and bridges, and now it's not being used and grass is overgrown. So you have the facilities, use them, Anderson. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go for a short break. When we return, we enter the last half hour of the program. Remember, this week we're giving away an electric kettle and a magic bullet. Your opportunity to win it is just to text us 9191. Use my name in the comments and send. Get an opportunity to win. We're going to go for a break. We'll be right back.
Easy little boy, don't know voice to the ghetto youths and Rafi B. Okay, party we are party now. Listen. Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. Yo, baby, tell them we are drinker, whether spring, summer, fall or winter. Yo, and if you don't believe me, just go and take a look on the Insta, and you will see beer up on the IG. And when me drink out our road, let many see. Yo, when you see me and Ravi in a party, we give the people the energy. How you feeling? Intoxicated. Still every buckle pop me taste it. So me big up every factory make it, and me not really care who ate it. No. They say I'm like a woman, that's not good for me, but woman is the best thing my eyes ever see. You could say what you want, you could be a hitter,
When the fox can get the creep, did they say it's sour? Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again.
Yo, listen up. Put your cup in the air now. Hard liquor, we not drink beer now. Could I yak or rum, we don't care now. We still a go beat it till we look like scarecrow. Yeah. So make a toast, y'all on no one round, baby. Drink the most, anywhere you see with the alcohol close. Ice and chaser, we drunk till later. We evocator now. Blends on paper, grades in a waiter. We put it on the grater. All who are kill the vibe, stay far. Stay fire.
They blame me for the rum, saying I still ring the door. But everybody have a choice to choose whatever. Everybody know that 1 and 1 is 2. And if you want to take a shot, then that is up to you, yeah. Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. Love in my heart, rum in my veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again.
Bring a bottle, bring another bottle now. Bring a bottle, bring another bottle now. Bring a bottle, bring another bottle right now. Ha. Bring a bottle, bring another bottle now. Bring a bottle, bring another bottle now. Bring another bottle now. Yeah. Yeah. Remember I said I'm a hard thing, you know. Be a slap thing, you know. A professor thing, you know. G beats, okay?
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
You juice. And when me drink, me get a natural boost. Ginger, lime, and turmeric. Keep away every sickness. Get a bottle of this a real spice. And make a healthy choice in your life. And let me drink up the juice. And let me drink up the thing from the roots. And let me drink up the thing from the fruits. The you juice. En route to the ultimate you.
Hi, Trinidad and Tobago. This is yours truly, Pastor Charles, streaming live from Port of Spain, Trinidad, Marival Road, 91.9. Every Wednesday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning. I tell you, we are going to have a T-I-M-E time in the presence of God. We will be praying, praise God, for our nation. We'll be praying for families. We'll be praying for those that are sick and those that are in need. Tune in to the best station, 91.5 FM, Street Live, Port of Spain, Marival.
The blood of Jesus over your family. Plead the blood over your family.
Finally, a line of baking products that caters for the gluten-free, cholesterol-free, egg-free, and dairy-free person, enriched with sesame, flax meal, and chai seeds. Also try our line of seasonings and spices that are ideal for diabetic, kidney, heart, colon, and hypertensive persons. Perfect for the whole family. Healthy O, the healthier way to go. Find it in a supermarket near you.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV.
Yo, RBC. Elani.
One love another. One love another. One love another. Cause yeah, so me love my team. Living my life and together we defend it. So me love my team. Limit is the sky and me up every minute. So me love my team. Love my team. Love my team. I'm in a pretend it. No, BIL, the Melange was for ya. No hesitation to rise the for ya. From a distance length, the place mightn't see ya. The whole area code will frighten for ya. Other than that, make what's a shot. You know what's after that? We stuck up woman, blessing is the aftermath. When it comes to niceness, yeah, you know we at the heart of that. And I talk about war, because we study the art of that. Say bad mind can mash me up, mankind can split we up. As one on my way to the top, now go work, we now go stop. Any boy this the link them gone against must sick in them head. Don't know the links them dread. And all snakes must come out after time. Just watch for when the skin them shed. Anyway, so me love my team. Living my life and together we defend it. So me love my team. Limit is the sky and me up every minute. So me love my team. Love my team. Love my team. I'm not pretending. No. I know every youth must make it. No matter sometimes it's frustrating. Get rich, petty badness outdated. Enough girl I wait forget.
Isha to be in the house here again. I listening everybody. And here what? Is we children what gunning down one another, what getting killed is we children who the 1%ers and the Syrians or whoever giving the guns and the drugs and things to sell for them to fight for turf. So what is the cause of we children gravitating to the guns, the drugs, and all these things? What is the problem? What is the solution? I understand Mr. Bataria, and I agree with him with some things, because I shy from Lavantin and I'm frightened to walk simply in past the street. I'm frightened to walk simply in past the street. So what is the solution? How and when we children became the way how they is? Because the adults and them did not lead by example for the younger ones to follow, and when they get deep in it, we cannot control them now. We want to blame the government. The government give free education for them to go and educate and elevate themselves. We had trade school for them to go and learn a trade. Same government, another government come and dismantle it and have we in the position that we in today. So what parents of today are doing to help the children and them to come out of where they is for today and to be bigger and better and brighter? What is the solution? Is the upbringing in the home, because no child of mine ain't going out on no road. You works nowhere, just no pay, and you're rocking bad man shoes and wherever. And I saying everything is well. So Aisha, days where we have to look at the government did their part, so it's we the parents have to do the balance. So Aisha, Tobago in the house locked on and listening.
Paul, thank you very much. So you understand my point, and just put it to use where I could pull up and watch them try and play some music and pan and competition against this pan side from down the road against Heliard pan side. And then we create something, the back road pan side, because we have a community center. But instead of that, you calling to tell who is girl and who is this and you have a contract and what that does for the community, man, control yourself now, man. Isha, you don't understand call just now and call and Pastor go talk about children on the road. Understand? I have a set of young black men between the ages of 10 and 12 hustling on the beatum in the landfill. Take them and put them in serve and let them become something, make them something productive members of society. That is what you have to do. Man, I'm sorry for this.
Caller, you're live.
Good afternoon. Tabakit here again. Now, I do not want to jump in defense of Anderson, but let me say something to Barataria who just left that voice note. You have a member of parliament and you have councillors for the area. I understand Anderson, and I'm not taking here for anybody, but we need to call a spade a spade. I really wanted to get back into the editorial, but let me just deal with this quickly. You have a member of parliament. His duty is to work with the community. You have a local representative. That is their job to put the officers from community development and deal with the community. Let me go quickly to the editorial because time is escaping us. Now, everybody is saying about these depressed community and who cannot go in. Yes, you could go into all these nice built-up communities where the so-called ones live. Sorry for calling people that, but let me deal with it. If you have all the containers parked in all these beautiful communities, and what comes in those communities, they use certain people to now carry it in these communities to destroy these communities. And when I hear African people calling and saying that how these communities and what is happening, yes, you're looking down at these people and you're kicking up your nose, or you can't go in. But what about the community that's looking nice and bringing the drugs and guns to these Africans who call in here? You know, in the days of Mandela with Winnie Mandela, they had something they called tire to put on neck. I don't want to be so harsh, but I'm saying the time you take to call the radio to destroy the African community, the question you need to ask yourself this evening, the community that look nice and where you could buy the burger, you have containers lining these streets, and the question you need to ask, what in these containers, and when it leaves there, do they use any law enforcement to take these drugs and guns to your community? You wonder. X cannot go in Y Street, so they cannot leave to bring no guns and drugs. So when you all answer that, then you all start to solve the problem. Cover it out and out. Get back to the editorial, people.
Thank you so much, Tabakit. Thank you so much. We just have a few more minutes left. We're taking your calls and your voice notes. Feel free to call us now, 342-0081, 771-1791, 466-5391. Caller, you live.
Good afternoon, Isha, darling.
Gemma, my darling. Gemma, my love.
Girl, this evening somebody started up in a cried on Pastor Google program. And I hear
somebody break down on Google show?
Yes, and I hear.
But what the hell is this? I thought it's only by me that it's breakdown.
No, I hear Pastor Google tell them, hello, wait until 4 o'clock.
Oh, God!
I just coming on 4 o'clock. So, I know I don't really work on Mondays. But when I went in the bathroom, so I said in the bathroom, I really hear you. So I said, oh, God, I had to call my girl. Because I was surprised. When I heard Pastor Google tell Mr. Gentleman, wait till 4 o'clock.
Hey, wait till 4 o'clock, Tabal. Wait till 4.
I had to cry. Right?
You think it's easy?
I said, well, wait, Isha don't really come on Monday.
Gemma, that man all about the place breaking down.
I'm telling you, he was on Pastor Google crying.
You could imagine that?
Not here. Wait till 4 o'clock. So I was when I shower, so when I come out, I said, look, I'm sitting down right here and wait till I hear my girl come. I fight to get up. I said, I said, we have a few minutes more. I say, oh, God, I only hope I get through within this few minutes. So it's now on the air. You understand? But one thing, let me tell you again, Sister Aisha, listen to me. What I want people to understand, PNM people is going to pick up for PNM. And UNC people picking up for the people. So I don't understand when people talking about PNM, that is the rights. They are PNM. And when the UNC talking about the UNC, that is the right. Because it's UNC, I find it's time to stop this nonsense. What you're only saying this and saying that. Everybody has a democratic right, and like who don't want. And since I 4 years, I am on PNM. I love my PNM. I never jumped ship yet. And who vexed, lost. Okay, I have a blessed one, my darling.
Thank you so much, Gemma. Have an awesome day. Caller, you live.
Aisha, well, you see how Gemma like she back and she conclusion?
Oh, how Gemma like back and Gemma called to tell me something.
She didn't tell you the right story, right? The man called the uncle of the nation, right? And you know I'm very passionate about the uncle of the nation.
Oh,
right?
Lord.
And he called and said how I was bashing Manning. And that was never true. That was never put. I never did it, and I would never do it because I understand what our uncle of the nation do for our great country. And Aisha, you see today is a disaster. You see how Barataria and them acting. You see how thirsty and desperate PNM is to get back in power. They are desperate. They are doing anything and saying anything. They are being disrespectful to people. They're looking to go down all of Aisha. What we are seeing there in Tobago today is a disaster for our country. It's not nice. It's very not nice at all. And we are calling on Dr. Rowley to do the right thing. Black man and black man and black man, right? They continue. These black people in PNM is the problem of our African community. They support black. Just sit down all day to call to tell you that I break down for the uncle of the nation. You should be happy. Things just fly before. But they don't care, no. All they care about is the doctor. The doctor is the brightest man. He could go on a platform and talk without a paper. He's bright. Aisha, well, this man is a doctor of rock. And ask how much house under his ministry is built. And it's fall apart. That right man, ask how much more over. He's a jail lawyer or something like that. He could tell the ground and say, well, this is the bill here, this is the bill here. And this man is a failure. Tobago reject him, right? It's only in Diego Martin. Under the PNM, they give him a chance. Tobago don't want to see him. So Dr. Rowley is a failure, and you need to get it right. And I'm saying this, it is time for Dr. Rowley to be on this other thing. And resign now because he cannot cover no more. He has no plan. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me play some voice notes very, very quickly. Just a few more minutes of the program left.
Aisha, long ago the young people used to be looking up at these parliamentarians and doctors and lawyers and all these people. Now the young people and nobody look up to. Tabakis, there's a man up in your area there, was in parliament. And his name called in the Scott drug report. And nobody ain't talking about how young people would look up to a guy like that when your name in a big report. And these are the things that happen in Trinidad. The young people, and nobody, who the young people have to look up to? The only thing they could look up to is the sky. And up there, they could talk to God, and they're not doing that either. So I don't know. Heaven help us all.
Aisha, well, good evening again. That was telling you us come to talk garbage. So what are you saying? People in Shogunas are drug dealers, Sabakit? I don't know. You tell me. Because you talk about containers. And they saying that ain't so. So Aisha, what is he telling me? I was telling him, come to talk some kind of garbage to see if they make sense. No sense at all.
All right, I'm going back to the phone lines. Feel free to call in. Let's go. Caller, you're live.
Aisha?
Yes?
You just see how Kingsley just trip off when he hear Mr. Manning name?
Yeah, he just start to break down and cry.
Well, when I hear Mr. Manning name, I just want to attack Aisha. I don't cry, I just want to attack. Aisha, are you aware that Mr. Manning had plans to run a pipeline from Trinidad going up the islands, Aisha? Are you aware?
No, I wasn't aware.
Aisha, the OPVs, to protect our borders, to protect that pipeline, and to protect our neighbors, Aisha. They got rid of it. They left us defenseless. PNM get boats. They left us defenseless, Aisha. And they want to talk about guns coming in the country now. The both of them left us defenseless, Aisha. So we don't want to talk now about, I don't want to hear about PNM. I don't want to hear about UNC. They left us defenseless, Aisha. So let regional run him out of what you want. I will leave it here.
Thank you so much. The lines are open. We take your calls. Mr. Leave It There, you leave it righty. Caller, you live. Hey, how you doing, Queen?
Good. Long time I ain't calling. However, concerning the young man, that wouldn't solve anything. It has to start from the top. And unless they clean out from the top, then they could start thinking about that. It's too corrupted there. Secondly, poverty, dig a hole and go in it. Have a good day, Aisha.
Thank you so much. We're getting ready to shut things down. Just about 2 more minutes of the program left. Let me see if I can take one more call. Caller, you live.
Nice program. Good afternoon, Aisha.
How you doing, brother?
Well, cool, calm, and collected. I just want to big up that Tobago caller. I want to give her a Natty Santa round of applause. She should go to the head of the class. She has said it all. What she has said is parenting, like I always say. Parenting is the problem. We're taking up the pawpaw on the ground, injecting it, hoping that the pawpaw tree stop dropping pawpaw. We are responsible people. That caller that called and said just now, what the children have to look up to. He doesn't realize that we ought to be example for our children to follow. The clothes we wear, the shows we watch, the places we go, the friends we keep, and the things we do. We ought to assist the Commissioner of Police. We are the first teacher, the first police, the first counselor. And if you don't look at it from that standpoint, Aisha, we ain't going nowhere. They could try what they want. Parenting is the answer. People is not afraid of gun anymore. We are afraid of being punished. We are afraid of being put in an ant's nest. We are afraid of cutting off our hands. We are afraid of the hangman. We are afraid of the cat-o'-nine. We are not afraid of bullets. And I'm saying we, not me, really, but I still use the term we. We need to measure twice, cut once. Live to love and love to live. Jesus Christ is the way. I shall look down and listen. Good program.
Thank you so much, caller. You're my final call.
I'm so glad to be a final call, Aisha. You have a wonderful evening and reach home safe to your children. And what I better say is really true. We, as parents in the neighborhood, have to look out for the younger ones and give them the best advice we could. That is the only solution. Jagai.
Jai God, brother. I'm out of here, AG and Aisha, signing off. Until tomorrow. Have a good one.
Can't stop the mass. S. Yo, the system. Batman like to party too. Play more so coffee them. Uptown big so party too. Play more so coffee them. If you feel like you can't get through, rum and so coffee them. All who vex and who hate you, play more so coffee them. And away we go. Time to kick off the greatest show. Say anywhere we go. Y'all just wine pon the thing like whoa. Could be rain or snow. That could never stop what we do. DJ pull it up again for me and my friends. We going down till the end. We going all day. Check out them calling possess. So when we touch down in the vibe, take jam, gal, no candlelight. When we touch down in the street, gal plus rum, everything complete. When we touch down in the bars, them gal, them shaking their heart. Come on, the bees love to party too. Playboy so coffee them. Big up South and the Central crew. Playboy so coffee them. Downtown with the action brew. Rum and so coffee them. West side, east side, everything good. Soca, we just defend. We going all day. Check out them calling way. We going all day. 24 hours in one day. We going all day. Check out them calling way. We going all day. 24 hours in one day. So when we touch down in the zest, hot gal a bubble like them possess. So when we touch down in the vibe, take jam, gal, no candlelight. When we touch down in the street, gal plus rum, everything complete. When we touch down in the bars, them gal, them shaking their heart. And away we go, time to kick off the greatest show. Say anywhere we go, gal does wine pon the thing like whoa. Could be rain or snow, that could never stop what we do. DJ pull it up again for me and my friends. We going down till the end. We going